So this is iPhone 13, a phone that was dropped back in 2021, survived the dynamic island era, the titanium era, and somehow, even in 2026, it refuses to become old. It's like that reliable friend who never tries to impress you but always shows up on time anyway. And honestly, that's exactly why people still keep buying it. So before we talk performance, let's talk about how this phone feels in 2026. The design, it's still clean, still modern, still classic Apple. Flat edges, ceramic shield, the first phone to feature a smaller notch design and that compact 6.1-inch form factor that fits right in your hands better than any most new phones. The display can get up to 800 nits of max brightness and up to 1200 nits of HDR content and outdoor use. But you know how the iPhone 16 looked last year? Literally the same smaller notch display, same 60Hz panel, and that's a big advantage to the 13. You can't call it old yet. No titanium here obviously, but the aluminium build still feels premium. Well, back when there was no such thing as a titanium iPhone, we had aluminium or stainless steel, so it was really easy to tell this iPhone's made of aluminum. Anyone could tell, and the shiny stainless steel looked different. But the titanium that looks exactly like the aluminum from outside of an iPhone, no one can actually make an educated guess just by looking or even touching it that it's not an aluminum but titanium. The only downside I can think of for this hardware design is that there are no softer, more curved edges like the iPhone 15 lineup introduced, and it's definitely a difference, but if you're gonna put a case on, it's not that much of a concern. But if you are team no case, you don't need to carry a knife around. So this is something you should know about for investing into an iPhone 13. Although it's not that heavy, pretty compact, and a phone not too small or not too big for a standard 6.1-inch display. Or you could get an iPhone 13 mini if you are into a smaller form factor for an iPhone that is the same as a 13. From outside, the cameras, yeah, the first ever diagonal design. Still funny but iconic now. Both are 12 megapixel shooters, but no telephoto lens with optical zoom. It doesn't have macro or ProRes either. We'll talk about the cameras in more detail in a minute. The speakers are the stereo speakers, which is loud enough for most use, like music, video, and calls, but definitely not less sounding even compared to most recent iPhones, and it does support all the MagSafe accessories. So unlike the iPhone 16e, which does not come with a MagSafe, iPhone 13 has that stuff. As for the software, it easily runs 95% of the new iOS 26 stuff except for the Apple Intelligence, so you can easily expect it up to iOS 28 or 29 if you are lucky. So it's still quite future proof in terms of software updates, and it already comes in 128 gigs out of the box as a base model, which you can bump up to 512 gigs depending on your needs. So that's an option here. So that's pretty much about how the design feels. But now let's talk performance. Inside this is the A15 Bionic, which is doing exactly what the A15 is known for, aging slowly. It comes with 4 gigs of RAM, so your apps stay open and open fairly fast. Animations are definitely still smooth even in iOS 26, and in day-to-day usage, it feels way closer to an iPhone 15 than a 12, just without the dynamic island. Scrolling is still smooth as it is. You can do multitasking, apps can stay open for a fair amount of time. I always have Books app, Notes, and a few Safari tabs open. It works fine, and it can easily handle all the heavy animations of iOS 26 and liquid glass across the entire UI. Like as you can see, here in the lock screen, you can easily customize your fonts. Anything related to liquid glass, you have all the new features, and the notification center and the control center are normal through scrolling. It can sometimes stutter, but they are mostly fine. So social media plus camera and plus light gaming, it handles all of it comfortably. When it doesn't come with the Apple's new A series neural upgrades or the insane GPU of the A19, but for normal users, the CPU still feels extremely capable. Although no Apple Intelligence and AAA games like Resident Evil, but if you're wondering about gaming, you can still play games like Fortnite, PUBG Mobile, and Minecraft at solid 60, and other games like Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, or Zenless Zone Zero much smoothly. I have played Fortnite and PUBG for about 4 hours, dropping it to less than 11 to 15%, so it's still decent enough for light gaming, but do keep in mind that it will heat almost instantly. So being in a cold area or in an air conditioned room would help decrease heat, or you could use a mobile cooling fan, or try not to use a case while gaming for better heat dissipation. So gaming is fairly possible, But now coming to the battery, this is where the story depends on your unit. A 2021 battery in 2026 is usually tired. If your health is below 80%, expect a noticeable drop. Like mine is at 78-79%, and I can still get all day battery for lighter tasks like media consumption, like YouTube and all, clicking photos or taking videos or just surfing through social media or Safari. At the end of the day, around evening, you're left with 10 to 15%, and that's on a 78% battery health. So with the battery replacement at a capacity nearly 100%, this iPhone can do what recent iPhones are doing. Not exactly, but still much capable. You should remember when this iPhone came out, the battery was already a pretty big hit with this. So with the new battery replacement, the iPhone 13 jumps back to a solid full day performance, around straight 6 to 7 hours of screen on time easily, leaving you with around 30 to 20% at the end of the day. Well, of course, depending on the stuff like checking PDFs, taking photos, listening to music or web browsing, and maybe light gaming. So battery replacement is genuinely best upgrade you can give this phone and make it really worth it in terms of battery, and it's good to go. The camera hardware hasn't changed, but Apple's software surely has, and the iPhone 13 gets most of the improvements, and it came around with lots of new camera features, like you get photographic styles where you can apply preset filters and modify them by tone and warmth, cinematic mode at 30 frames where you can blur the background or the object in front, giving you a more cinema-like look. Well, these two features were introduced with the iPhone 13 anyway, but you also get HDR photos and videos with better low light processing, and of course video recording at 4K 60. But what you don't get is a macro lens that was for the iPhone 13 Pro and for the Pro models later, telephoto lens and Pro RAW formats. But is it an iPhone 17 Pro killer? Well, definitely not. But for everyday photography, socials, and video recording, it still stays strong. And the front-facing camera is also a 12 megapixel shooter. It has its magic, like it's good for night photography, cinematic mode, and 4K HDR video recording with Dolby Vision. It does support portrait lightings and auto image stabilization. So here's something you should know: if you take your front-facing photos in portrait orientation, it will capture it at a 7 megapixels, and if you take it in horizontal orientation, it will capture a full 12 megapixel shot. Most average users won't even notice the generational gap between basic camera captures unless compared side by side or by a professional, but you won't find photographic style and cinematic mode in an iPhone 12 or earlier. So if you are into mobile photography or content creation, these diagonal cameras will definitely help you enough to do this daily. So should you buy it in 2026? Here's the realistic take. If you are upgrading from an iPhone 10, 10R, 11 or even 12, the 13 still makes a perfect sense. It's cheap in the used market, reliable, and has years of support left. If you already own it, just replace the battery. You don't need an upgrade unless you want 120Hz, better cameras if you notice the difference, or Apple Intelligence features. I'm not joking, maybe I am. You can easily buy it for your parents or grandparents or even your kids to try out an iPhone for the first time and probably how it feels, cause it's a really good deal in terms of price to feature ratio. Sure, you won't get the dynamic island and 120Hz, but come on, that doesn't come with an iPhone 16e either, which looks the same as the iPhone 13 and iPhone 16, which is still stuck at 60Hz. So I would not trade with an iPhone 16e just for Apple Intelligence, knowing 13 is a much better deal for most. So yeah, iPhone 13 in 2026 is one of those phones that just quietly aged well. Not flashy enough, not revolutionary enough by today's standard, but still stable, practical, and still surprisingly powerful. If you want a budget-friendly iPhone which is reliable with years of support left, this is still one of the smartest buy you can make. If you decide to go for an iPhone 12 or earlier, you will miss out on many stuff. So that's the story for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next drop. Peace out.